Are we on already?
I did.
Okay.
I finished, you started it, right?
Yeah. Okay, just a second.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, dime nada. It was Yiddish. Was machst du? Ayid.
A Jew.
A Jew. I was going to say I did Haggadah last week, so I have no idea how far out there.
No wonder it was so far over that way.
They were probably in Lech Lecha.
Actually, we were, whatever. But it's nice, this part of the Torah, it's easy, relatively easy to find the beginning of the parasha.
Very common in the winter, the space for the snow and the driveway.
Page 61. Good morning, Boker Tov.
Boker Tov.
And good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Moda ani lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha And a little further down the page. Page 61, here's Harvest. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim merov chasdecha aneni be'emet ishecha. Page 63, second paragraph. Elohai Shama Shenachata B'Tehorahi Elohai Shama Shenachata B'Tehorahi Elohai Neshama Shenachata B'Tehorahi Elohai Neshama Shenachata Elohai Neshama Elohai Kol zman shehaneshama v'kirbi moda'ani lefanecha Adonai Elohai v'Elohei Avotai Ribon kol hama'asim adon kol haneshamot Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir neshamot livkarim metim. Amen. Let's continue. I want to do it. I want to add something different. We've done it in the past. Let's try it today. The next two lines, which are beautiful lines. Hareini Mekabela for a guy, or Mekabelet Alai Mitzvat Haborei Ve'ahavta L'Reacha Kamocha, which means, behold, I take upon myself the commandment of the Creator to love our neighbor as ourselves. And what we've done when we do this, we get up, if we're comfortable doing this, and just go around and shake hands or nod or just smile at one another as we're reminding each other that we love our neighbor as ourselves. So the melody goes like this. Hareini b'ka'avel amai. I'm just listening. Is that the door? Okay, it goes like this. Hareini b'ka'avel alai. Try it. Hareini b'ka'avel alai. There it goes. Mitzvat haborei. Mitzvat haborei. So the whole thing from the top. Hareini b'ka'avel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Good, that's the first part. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Try that. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Reacha kamocha. Reacha kamocha. Okay? So, welcome. We're on page 63 in our Shabbat prayer books. That's this one here. And we're right in the middle page. We just learned a song it goes, Hare mi mikabel alai, behold, I take upon myself the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. And we haven't done this in a long time, but today we're going to, as we do it, we're going to sing it or hum it, and we walk around and just give it an expression of caring or love to each of our neighbors. Can be a handshake, whatever, and then we'll all sit down and we'll continue the service. Good? Hareini mekabel alai mitzvah haboreh ve'ahavta l'reach kamocha re'ach kamocha. Nice.
It helps to warm the kishes.
What?
It helps to warm the kishes.
It does help to warm the kishes. And to warm the heart, too. It's nice. It's nice. Why don't we just quickly go around and just say our names? We have a new person here today, so it's nice to welcome each other that way, too. In addition to what I'm Saul.
Simon.
Michael,
Rachel. Judy.
Robert,
I'm Francis.
That's great. Welcome. Is this your first time here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we don't always do what we just did, but I'm glad we did it.
Were you just at the front door?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I went to look, but you were already gone.
I came around the side.
This side.
Okay, great. So we're going to continue on page 65, and you may notice, Francis, some of us stand, some of us sit. That's fine. We don't always have to all be doing this exact same thing in the same way. And these are the morning blessings. We'll chant them in Hebrew or respond with Amen, and here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sachli min ha'lachim ben yom u'bein layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ilim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arulim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokeh kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam lokach haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin b'tzaddik aver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael l'sifam ha'am. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hanotein la'yaleh kol ha'am. And on the English side of page 65, counting up from the very bottom of the page, 6 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's read together in English. Strengthen our desire to do good deeds. Teach us humility that we may serve you. May we find grace, love, and compassion in your sight, and in the sight of all who look upon us this day and every day. Grant us a full measure of loving kindness. Praised are you, Adonai, who bestows loving kindness upon God's people, Israel. Page 83. Baruch Shema Olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer Be'oseh, Baruch Gozer Umekayem, Baruch Merachem al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem al Habriyot, Baruch Mishalem Tzachakol V'Geirav, Baruch Chaylav V'Kayam L'Netzach, Baruch Hodeh U'Matzil, Baruch Shemo. We extol you in song, we celebrate your fame in melody, we proclaim you sovereign, singular, eternal God. Praised are you, Adonai, sovereign, magnified with songs of praise. Baruch atah Adonai, melech me'olam, v'tishkachol.
Amen.
So this is the magnifying part of the service. We magnify God with songs of praise. Page 86. Lala's work as well. Actually, let's go to 85. There's the Hebrew side, 9 line down, and then we skip the 10th line and we do the 11th line. And Yismechu Hashemayim, let the heavens be glad. Yismechu Hashemayim, Hashemayim, Yismechu Hashemayim, Hashemayim, Yismechu Hashemayim, V'tzageh haaretz. Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, umelo, Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, umelo, Yismechu Hashemayim, Hashemayim, Yismechu Hashemayim, Hashemayim, Yismechu Hashemayim, v'tzageh haaretz. Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, umelo, Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, Yiram hayom, umelo. And let's go to page 87. In the middle of the page where we get to single lines. Torah Adonai Tamima, the Torah of God is perfect, reviving the spirit, enlightening the simple, gladdening the heart, opening the eyes. Except we'll do it in Hebrew. Page 87. Torah Adonai Tamima, Torah Adonai Tamima.
Kima Beshirazahatei Eidut Adonai Nemanam Makima Tetzi Pekudei Adonai Shari Pekudei Adonai Shari Pekudei Adonai Yesharim Nesakelei Mitzvahs Adonai Ba'aram Ne'iras Einayim Yiras Adonai Torah Yiras Adonai Torah Yiras Adonai Torah Omed es la'am Mishpetei Adonai Emen Tzaku
We're just in time for Mihaish. Page 88, in the middle of the page. Who is the person who yearns for a long life, discovering goodness? That person should keep their tongue from evil, lips from speaking lies, shun evil, do good, seek peace, and pursue it. Page 88.
Mihaish Hechafetz Hayim Ohev Yamim Lirot Tov Netzor L'shon Chamecha U'Sfasecha Midaber Mirma Tzur Ve'abaseito Bakesh Shalom Ve'vatehu Mihaish Hechafetz Hayim Ohev Yamim Lirot Tov
Page 94. Let's start by reading the first 3 stanzas together in English, and then we'll sing it in Hebrew. Page 94. A song for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God. to affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. So let's sing with joy. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha b'leilot, alei asor ba'aleina, alei higayon lechinot, mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachani Adonai b'forecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha araneim, ma'galu ba'aseh Adonai, me'od ha'kulam shir'otecha, mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. And same page, 6 lines up from the bottom of the page, the righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. Which melody do we want?
Slow.
Let's continue on page 100. In the middle of the page, with a song whose name is the same in Hebrew as it is in English. Hallelujah. It's Hebrew and it's English. And it means the same thing, which is praise God. Hallelujah, 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 El Bekacho, hallelujah, Birki Aluzo, hallelujah, Biguraso, hallelujah, Kirabula, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
hallelujah, 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 take a shofar, hallelujah, bechinor, hallelujah, tov umachor, hallelujah, birnim be'ugar, hallelujah, 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 b'tzitz le'shama, hallelujah, b'tzitz le'shua, kol hashama, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Page 104. Nishmat Kochai, with the breath of everything that lives, all plants, all animals, all humans, give blessing and praise to the source of our lives. Nishmat Kochai, Tivarech et Shimcha, Adonai, Eloheinu, Nishmat Kochai, Tivarech et Shimcha, Adonai, Eloheinu, Let's read together the last paragraph in English, page 104. From Egypt you redeemed us, from the house of bondage you delivered us, in famine you nourished us, in prosperity you sustained us. You rescued us from the sword, protected us from pestilence, and saved us from severe and lingering disease. To this day your compassion has sustained us, your kindness has not forsaken us. Never abandon us, Adonai, our God. Let's continue on page 105. The second paragraph up from the bottom, the second line of that paragraph, and the second word of that line. And then we'll go back to the first word of that line.
Rananu, rananu, tzadikim. Rananu, rananu, tzadikim. Rananu, rananu, tzadikim. Vayisharim navatila. Rananu, rananu, tzadikim. Rananu, rananu, tzadikim. Rananu, rananu, tzadikim. Vayisharim navatila.
Thank you, Jimmy, for introducing that melody. Now, one line up.
Shochen ad maharom v'kadosh shemo. V'chatuv v'nitzachim Adonai v'yisharina v'tehila. V'yisharim titala. U'divrei tzadikim tiparach. U'vilshon chasidim titronam. U'bekerev kedoshim tikarash. U'magalot v'yimot ta'ancha beit Yisrael. Shekein chovat kol eitzurim lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu lehodo lehalel leshabeach lefa'er leromein lehader levarech laleu l'chales al kol divrei shirot v'tishbechot David ben Yishai Adecha B'Shichecha Yishalach Shimcha V'Anakeinu Berachot v'hodaot me'ata v'ad olam Baruch atah Adonai El melech gadol batishpachot El hodaot Adon anifraot Haboker b'shirei zimra Melech elkei Praised are you, Adonai, sovereign of wonders, crowned with adoration, delighting in our songs and psalms, exalted ruler, eternal life of the universe. So this concludes our warm-up. Are we feeling warmed up? Yes, we are. Good. Okay, great. So we continue now with the next part of the service, and I have Francis, welcome again. I have a question for you, sort of embarrassing, but I have to ask. Are you Jewish?
No.
Okay. Sorry, we have certain numbers of people are needed for certain parts of the service, and I needed to know that.
I can't contribute to your opinion, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know how to do it any other way. So I'm sorry. And we're delighted you're here with us. Please. Okay. So you know about minions and all that stuff. Good. Great. Phew. Okay. So then let us continue with El Adon on page 108. And this one even has transliteration on the bottom half of the page. And it's about giving thanks for all the beautiful stars and suns and moons in the world, in the universe. El Adon al kol hamasim baruch u'barach v'chikol neshama kadosh v'tubo malei olam tutuna so v'dimoso Hamitai achayos hakodesh v'nedar v'chol al hamerkavot zechut u'mishor li echiso Chesed v'rachamim l'kevod tovim me'oro shebara Eloheinu Yitzhak v'da'at b'bina u'vasel koach u'gvura nasan bohem liot roshli v'kerem teker melei zin u'piki nogan no'ez ilam v'chol ha'olam Samechim b'tzeitzvam v'slasim b'cholam Osim b'chemod v'shom kodam V'yer v'chavod Nosim l'shmos Salah v'rina V'zecher machuzo Koron v'shemesh Vayizrach Surah Hamanah Sheva Nos Nimo Kol Sevamana Tiveret Ugedula Seraphim Me'ofanim Bechayot HaKodesh La 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 Ya 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 la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya Page 109. Let's read the top paragraph together in the English. To God, who completed the work of creation on the seventh day and ascended God's glorious throne, God robed the day of rest in beauty, calling Shabbat a delight. God ceased all God's labors on Shabbat. That is its distinction. The seventh day itself hymns praise to God. A song for Shabbat, it is good to acclaim Adonai. Tibarach Moshe Mashevach Masei Yadecha Val Me'orei Or Shasita Yefaru Chaseda. Page 110. Tibarach Tzurenu Malkeinu Begovalenu Borei Kedoshim. Three and a half lines from the top at the box in the middle of the line. Kulam ahuvim, kulam mehuvim, kulam giborim, kulam osim ve'ima ovira, retzon konam, kulam potzim epihem, bitusha u'tahara, v'shira u'bezima, U'mbarachim u'meshalachim, u'mefarim u'maritzim, u'makdishim u'mamlichim. Et Shem ha'el ha'melech, ha'gadol ha'gibor ha'nורא, kadosh hu. וכולם מקבלים עליהם, או מלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה. להקדיש לעצמם בלחץ רוח, בשפה ברורה בדמעה קדושה, כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך הארץ כבודו. ואופנים בחיות הקודש, ורעש גדול מנסים ומצרפים, לעומתם משבחים ואומרים, ברוך כבוד אדוני מיום. לאמור לאמותיתנו, למלך זמירות יאמרו בתשבחות ישמעו, כי הוא לבדו. אל גבולות חוסר חדשות, במלחמות צרי הצדקות, מצמיח ישועות. רפואות, נורא תהילות, אדוני נפלאות, המחדש בטובו בכל יום טוב.
Tamid Maaseh Bereshit Ka'amur Le'aseh Gdolim Ki Le'olam Chasdo Or Hadash Al Tzion Ta'ir V'nizkechu lanu Behema Le'olam Baruch Ato Adonai Yotzer HaMe'oros.
Page 111, Ahava, Rabbah, Ahavtanu. You have loved us with great love.
Ahava Ahavtanu Ahava Ahavtanu
And the gift of that love is enlightening our eyes with your teaching, with your Torah, V'ha'er einenu, the Torah Techa, beginning of the second paragraph.
Ve'ha'erinu b'toratecha v'zahav ve'enu b'mitzvosecha ve'yached levaveinu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha ve'lo nebosh le'olam lahem ve'lo nebosh le'olam lahem ki v'shem ka'adshecha Agadol v'hanora b'atachnu Nagila v'nismecha Nagila v'nismecha b'shuvasecha V'havienu l'shalom Me'al ha'kanfot ha'aretz V'zolicheinu Kom Eliud le'artzeinu Ki helpa Yeshuata Uvanu b'chata b'kol ha'derashon Ve'keratanu L'shimcha ha'gadol Selah Me'emet Le'hol v'kol Le'achecha U'yachecha
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'amo Yisrael, be'ahava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. היו הגונים האלה אשר הנביא צדקה היום על בדרך ושיינת על בדרך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכנך ובקומך וקשרת מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continue on our own silently from the middle of page 112. Adonai Elohechem
Ja, het is nog.
Le'dor v'ador hu kayam u'shmo kayam v'chisan achon u'malchuto v'emunato la'ad kayam Page 113, 4 lines up from the bottom. Emet she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Malkeinu Melech Avoteinu Avoteinu Kol Aleinu Koel Avoteinu Yotzreinu Tzur Yeshuaseinu Hodelu Hasileinu Me'olam Shemecha Ein Elohim Zulasecha Ezra V'Tavoteinu Atahu Me'olam. Let's continue with the Nichamocha, page 114, in the middle of the page, the words that we sang as we were freed from slavery, and remind us of the gift of freedom today. Nichamocha, Nichamocha, Ba'elim Adonai,
Ba'elim Adonai,
Nikamocha,
Nikamocha,
Nedar HaKodesh,
Nedar HaKodesh,
Nohora,
Nohora,
Tehilot,
Tehilot,
Shira Karasha Shikugil Shimchal Svat Hayam Yachad Kulam Udavim Lichu V'Amruhu Adonai Imlo Le'olam Vared Tzur Yisrael Kula B'Ezras Yisrael
Mecha, Yehuda Israel, go Aleinu, Adonai Tzvaot Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai Yisrael.
Page 115B.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avosseinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sova, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasodim Tovim, Mekonei HaKol, Mitzofeh Chazdei Avot, Unevi Goel Yivnei Mehem, Leman Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach. Baruch Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ufakei Tzavah. Atar Gibor Yolam Adonai, Mechayei Mesim Atorav L'Hoshia. Mashiv HaRuach U'Marid HaGeshem. Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed. Mechayim Mesim Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunaso, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Yeruos, Umidon Elah, Melech Nemid, Umechayim, Umasmiach Yeshua.
Ne'eman Tzadakayot Meitim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaMeitim.
Amen.
Mekadesh et Shimcha Keshem Shemati Shimoto Yishnei Marom Kakosu Vayam Neviecha Dekara Zeyom Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech Haaretz Kivod. Kadosh, Kadosh, Adir Lechazav Nashim Kol, Misnasim B'Masafim, B'Masam Baruch Yoneru. Baruch Kivod Adonai, Mi'ikomo. Adonai Mitzvah Tzimach Aleinu, Shachim Anavu. Outside of the Karobim, Lamed Tishkon. He's God, alles is God. Tzok Yerushalayim Yircha. Ledor Badot Unetzach Unetzach Netzachim Beineinu Sirenu Machusecha Mashiach Tzidkecha.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה.
Dor vador,
דור ודור,
dor vador,
דור ודור, דור ודור נגיד לך.
dor vador,
דור ודור,
dor vador,
דור ודור, דור ודור נגיד לך. ונצח נצחים, קדושה נקדיש, קדושה נקדיש, לשבחך אלוהינו, אלוהינו ליום בוש, לעולם לעולם ועד.
dor vador,
דור ודור,
dor vador,
דור ודור, דור ודור נגיד לך.
dor vador,
דור ודור,
dor vador,
דור ודור, דור ודור נגיד לך. כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה. כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadol.
Amen. ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, במענס ככל. כי אבן אמן, כי אבן אמן, כליל תפארת בראשון עשתה. ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, במענס ככל. ויעמדו לפניך, ויעמדו לפניך, על הר סיני. ושני לוחות המונים, ושני לוחות המונים, הוריד בידו. ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, במענס ככל. וכעסו בהם, וכעסו בהם, שמיר השבת. וכן כעסו, וכן כעסו, בשור עזך. ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, ישמח משה במענך, במענס ככל. ברור בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לקדושם לבית עולם. בינינו בין ישראל, אותי לעולם, איש אשר אני למסע אדוני, השמיים והארץ, וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי, שבת, שבת, שבת
Page 138. Ikara Shemei Rabba, V'yamad Yirach Yotei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chai Chol V'yamechol V'chayir Chol Beit Yisrael V'agav V'zman Kari V'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach V'yolam Lo Me'amaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'kvar V'yirma Minaseh V'tadar V'tala V'talash V'yifusha Rechu Ve'ela Mikol V'chata V'shirata Tishvachata V'nechamata Da'amiran Ba'ama V'yimeru Amen. Tikabal Tzorot V'Nevaton V'chol Yisrael Kadama V'chon Dirishmai V'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shlamar Ha'amin Shemaya V'chayim Alein V'chol Yisrael V'yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Bramav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Bramav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimeru Amen. Yaseh Shalom
Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael.
Let's continue on page 139 with the service for taking the Torah out of the ark. Does mother and daughter want to do it together?
Sure. Sorry.
You almost lost it, Cindy.
Sorry.
Page 139. Do we have Gabayim today?
She's here. She's getting. Where is she? She was right behind us.
Okay.
Let me go get the golden lasso.
Want some temporaries?
Sure, yes, I do, please.
What?
Just go, you just stand next to Rabbi.
We'll cue you for the rest. Then I would go back to Rabbi.
You got it. You can do whatever you got. Okay. Please rise, page 139.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ein kamasecha, malachutecha, malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor vador, Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai Imlo v'Alav Baruch, Adonai Oz Yamo Yitein, Adonai Yivarech et Amo Shalom, Adonai Rachamim, Heitiva Mirtzona, Sion, Tiberach Yerushalayim, Tiberach Yerushalayim, Tiberach levamatachnu, Melech Elram v'Nisa, Adon Olamim. Vayehi Aharon, vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, v'yafutzu oivecha, v'yanusu mitzanecha, Mipanecha, Kitzion, Tetzei Torah, Kitzion, Tetzei Torah, U'dirah Adonai, Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenazan, Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenazan, Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato.
Page 140, the sixth line.
Be'anarachez,
Lishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Ana Ematu Shechon, Be'anarachez, Be'anarachez, Lishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Ana Ematu Shechon, בליבי, בליבי וכל עמך ישראל, ותמו חיים ולשלום. Amen.
Page 141.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Galu Adonai iti Unirom Shemo Yachdav.
Adonai Hagedurah, V'Hatiferet, V'Hanetzach, V'Hahod, Ki Chol Hashamayim U'Baaretz, Ki Chol Hashamayim U'Baaretz, Adonai Eloheinu, V'ishtachavu, 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 Har Parsha v'Har Parsha. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
As we see in Yahshua, thank you. Son,
What? What's that?
John, will you find your rightful place?
Oh, sure. You want to do this?
Go.
Oh, you're good.
Oh,
You're in a good
that's
place.
who I was looking for.
The Torah reading for this morning can be found on page 69. 69.
Chapter 12, verse 1.
And it's a great Torah. It's about journeys. The first Jewish journey, as it were. Lech Lecha. יעזור בימים ישיר כל החוסים בעולם, אמן, הכל הבו גדול אלוהים בקבלת תורה.
Talmud, Shana bat Yitzchak HaKohen, V'Fadela.
Sorry.
And it's interesting to note, I just read a commentary from Chama Leibowitz who starts off, it says, at first it's like a command to Abraham to go and find our own place, not related to the rest of the world, but it ends as a kind of particularistic thing, but it ends with the universal thing, which is, through you may all peoples be blessed. So it's both to find our own personal voice, but to share that with the whole world, which I thought was a beautiful comment.
Baruch Hu Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'omim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Avram lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladetcha u'mibeit avicha el haaretz asher arecha ve'el goy gadol va'avarechecha va'agada shemecha v'hayei bracha va'avarechecha v'varechecha u'mechalalecha aor ונברכו לך כל משפחות האדמה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yamod Shalom ben Yitzchak Levi Bezakiah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bachar banu mikol ha'omim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. וילך אברהם כאשר דיבר אליו אדוני וילך איתו לוט ואברהם בן 5 שנים ו70 שנה בצאתו מחרן ויקח אברהם את שרי אשתו ואת לוט בן אחיו ואת כל רכושם אשר רכשו ואת הנפש אשר עשו בחרן ויצאו ללכת ארצה כנען ויבואו ארצה כנען ויעבור אברהם בארץ עד מקום שכם עד אילון מורה והכנעני אז בארץ.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yes, we go.
There is one person in the congregation that I know is a veteran. Are there any other of us this morning that are veterans? Yeah, that counts. Niece is Israeli. Are you Israeli Army? I know.
She was in the army.
That's all.
But we call them up together. You call them up together. Okay. Yamod Shlishi Michael ben Noach Barachale. a veteran.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Bo'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Bocha Bonu Mikol Hamim V'Nosha Lanu Es Toraso. Baruch Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Page 72, verse 7.
Vayera Adonai el Avram vayomer lezarach etein et haaretz hazot vayidem sham mizbeach l'Adonai hanir elav vayatek misham ha'ala mikedem lebeit el vayet ohalo beit el miyam v'ha'ai mikedem Vayiben Sham Mizbeach Adonai, Vayikra B'Shem Adonai, Vayisa Avram Haloch V'Nasoa Ha'neva.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Nosha Lanu Torah Emet V'Chayei Olam. V'Tan B'Zochenu Baruch Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
Yasher Koach.
Talmud Revi'i Yehudi Bat Shalom Henya.
Oh, should be.
Baruch Hu Adonai Habarach.
Baruch
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim. V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Now we come to a little troubling part of the story. We're on page 72, verse 10. Abraham just happens to mention, now I notice you're a beautiful woman, to his wife that he's been married too many years. What he asked her to do is also a little bit troubling here. Amen. Vayihira av ba'aretz, vayered Avram Mitzrayim lagur sham, ki chaved harav ba'aretz, vayihi כאשר הקריב לבוא מצרימה, ויאמר אל שרי אשתו, הננה ידעתי, כי אישה יפת מראה את, והיה כי יראו אותך המצרים, ואמרו אשתו זאת, והרגו אותי ואותך יחיו, אמרי נא אחותי את, למען ייטב לי בעבורך, וחייתה נפשי בגללך.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet, V'chayei Olam Atah B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach.
Talmud Hamishi Rachel Bat Avraham Basara.
But Abraham wasn't totally wrong either. What he said might happen, happened.
Does that now move him into the category of another he?
Baruchu et Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch
Adonai
Hamorah Leolam Hayet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddush asher natan bachar banu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן. ויהי כבוא אברהם מצרימה, ויראו המצרים את האישה, כי יפה היא מאוד, ויראו אותה שרי פרעה, ויהללו אל פרעה, ותוכח האישה בית פרעה, ולאברהם היטיב בעבורה, ויהי לו צאן ובקר וחמורים, ועבדים ושפחות, ואתונות וגמלים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטל בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. And let's do a prayer for healing. We could do that. I don't know if we all know it. We may have copies back here. We have a request to do it a little differently.
Thank you. Thanks. Here? Yeah.
Yeah, she put me on.
I'll tell you what, how about next week?
Okay.
And we'll be more prepared for it.
What was the request?
שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שר רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את
Daniel and Sova.
Robert Collin, their boss. I don't know. I don't know.
ואת כל החולים בקהילה הקדושה הזאת, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחזיקם לרפאותם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, בתוך שאר חולי ישראל שבתים לזעוק, ורפואה קרבה לבוא, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב, ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to all those who are ill within our congregational family. May they be blessed with a full and complete healing, a healing of spirit and a healing of body, together with all among the Jewish people and among the world. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all those who are ill be surrounded by the love of their friends, their loving companions, their families, and their community. And let us say,
Amen. Great job. Sure. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Tamar, Shishi, Yehudi, Bat Ruvain, Naguma, Bibnuma. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Elohim.
Baruch Hashem Barach Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
Here we are already talking about a plague for the Pharaoh in Egypt, very early. But we're not here. Vayinaga Adonai et Paro Negayim Gedalim ve'et Beto Al Devar Sarai Eshet Avraham Vayikra Paro le'Avraham Vayomer Mazot Asita Li Lama Lo Higarta Li Ki Ishtecha Hi Lama Amarta Achoti Va'ekach otali ve'isha ve'ata hinei ishtecha kach v'lech vayitzav alav paro anashim vayishalchu oto ve'et ishto ve'kol asher lo.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Yeah, that's right, we need you again.
Page 74, chapter 13.
Yamod Shabi'i, Final Shalom, then Moshe away, Barak away.
Baruch Adonai Barach.
Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Nosan Lanu Es Torah. Baruch Atah Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Vaya Avram Mitzrayim Hu v'ishto v'chol asher lo imo hanegba ve'Avraham chavei me'od v'mitneh b'kesef u'b'zahav vayelech lema'asav minegev v'ad Beit El Ad hamakom asher haya sham ohalo batchila bein Beit El ubein ha'ai el mekom hamizbeach asher asa sham barishona vayikra sham Abraham B'Shem Adonai.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Nosan Lanu Torah Sameach B'chayim Lo Tisochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Anosein
Amen.
Amen.
Yiskadal, Yiskada, Shemei, Babo,
Amen.
Yivrach, Yerushalayim, Lit, Malchusei, V'chayet, Amru, Yomei, Uchayet, Chomeis Yisrael, Ba'golam, U'bizman Gorim, V'imru, Amen, Yemei Shmira, B'Mevorah, Le'olam, Le'olam, Yisborach, V'yishtabach, V'yisborach, V'yisramam, V'yisnasei, V'yisadar, V'yisalev, V'yisalash, V'yisgrusha, V'yichud, V'yehela, V'yikol B'chotav, V'shir Asah, Tushkecha, Savinechem, Asah, Zamiram, V'yalma, V'yimru, Amen.
יישר כוח.
Yamdu Maftir, Tzvi ben Yehuda HaKohen, Esther Malka, Nita bat Menachem, Ubatya. You do it? Come on. Come and honor the veterans. Oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry. You'll have to hold the fort for both.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch Adonai Haborach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Haborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Vaya Avram Mitzrayim hu v'ishto v'chol asher lo v'lot imo hanegva ve'Avram chavei me'od במבנה בכסף ובזהב וילך למסעיו מנגב ועד בית אל עד המקום אשר היה שם אוהלו בתחילה בין בית אל ובין אל מקום המזבח אשר עשה שם בראשונה ויקרא שם אברהם בשם אדוני.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
יעמוד הבא דוד. What's next? Yamod Galilah Shena.
Let's stand as the Torah is lifted and taught.
Mizos HaTorah Asher Sameh Livnei B'nei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'yad Moshe Torah Orah Torah Orah Hallelujah
It's records of
Hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah, Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Let's continue on page 153. Steve, if you'd like to lead us in returning the Torah to the Ark, we remain standing, page 153, as we open the Ark. So where you go?
She's getting a book. Hold on. Wrong book.
Oh, okay.
Yahweh et Shem Adonai, Hinishka Shemo Levado.
Haaretz v'shamayim, vayared kerem v'yam, tila v'chol chasivam, v'nei Yisrael ha'kirobam. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
I'm sorry. Mizmor David.
Havul Adonai b'nei, Havul Adonai b'nei, Havul Adonai b'shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai le'avat kodesh. Oh Adonai Baruch, oh Adonai Be'adonai, oh Adonai Shomer HaRazim, Vashavir Adonai et Arsem Alano. Kol Adonai Hotzer Lavot Esh, Kol Adonai Yagil Midbar, Yagil Midbar. Adonai Anabuya, Shammai Yeshev Adonai, Melech Le'olam, Adonai Oz Li'amo Yitei, Adonai Yivarech Shalom. Etzayim lemazima v'tomecha me'usha terachlecha darkei noam v'chol mitzvotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh
It's real fast. I want to sing this song very badly.
Go ahead, Judy.
This is a song that was written for this parsha. It's Debbie Friedman.
Oh, then wait a minute. Before you sing it,
You
let
have
me
it?
give out the words to everybody.
It's L'chilach.
Let's-
Oh, great, okay, then I don't have to sing it, everybody else sing
No,
it,
no,
thank
but you
you.
can help, no, stay up here,
Read it.
please. Otherwise, what happens if people
Let me
have the
take your
words?
words, because maybe you have more than I just said.
Okay. Okay. You can share that.
Thank you.
We're thinking alike.
Woo-hoo.
So you wanna say why you picked this song?
Well, back in my old synagogue in Rockville, Maryland, we sang a song every week, the Campbell, and we always sang.
The microphone, please.
זה לא חשוב, באמת. מה שאני אומרת, back in Maryland, we sang this every year at this parsha. And it's Debbie Friedman who wrote it, and I really like this song, so I thought it was relevant. That's why I was such in the thing. L'chilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. L'chilach, on your journey I will bless you. And you shall be a blessing. And you shall be a blessing. Another time. L'chilach. L'chilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. L'chilach, to a place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim.
Thank you.
Shikara.
So, Lechilach or Lech Lecha, it's the beginning of our Torah portion, at the beginning of our Torah portion on page 12, and it means literally get going. Lech, or go, Lecha. Some people say it's for yourself, some say go to yourself, but it's God's first commandment to Abram at that point, Avram, to go from Artsacha, Nimoladcha Mibeit Avicha, from your land, from your birthplace, and from the house of your parent. So it's to leave everything that's known, in short, and to go into the unknown. And there are also comments about if we're leaving a place, isn't the order wrong? Don't we usually leave our home? And then we leave our hometown or area, and then we leave our country. Why does it say leave your country, your birthplace, and your parental home? Seems backwards. But one of the answers given is that this isn't necessarily about a physical journey. Yeah. It's also about an emotional, spiritual journey. And so the hardest thing to leave is the last one, our own family, the place of our
family. It's a little easier to leave those other things, but that's the most intimate. But Abraham is called on to leave all of that and to go where? Basement. To a land I'll show you. Doesn't, no, you're gonna go. There's a humorous commentary about that Abraham is rewarded for all the words he had to say to the people as he was leaving. Rashi says that, actually. And the commentary on Rashi is, well, why did he have to say so much? Well, because, he's saying, well, I'm going, goodbye, folks. And they say, well, where are you going? And I don't know. And do you have a home there? I don't know. Why are you going? So he had to do all this explaining because no one can understand. Of course, if you're leaving, you know where you're going to. You've already bought an apartment in the next place. So for all those words he had to explain, finally I said, because God called me, and I just followed what God says. His extra reward. Okay. But anyways, so those are some of the traditional commentaries around this. But what I wanted to do is do something a little different today with us, which is, this story is not only the part of the foundation story of us, our connection with the land, and of our moving and starting of our religion, but it's also a story that resonates very deeply on a personal level as well. Very deeply. And so, many poems, many songs have been written on the theme of Lech Lecha. And I thought what we would do is, instead of looking at, well, I just shared a few of the traditional commentaries, I'd like to share some of the non-traditional commentaries that come via poetry. So I actually, if anyone still needs a copy, there were some shared, but I've got enough to go around for everyone to have one. Anyone else need one? Anyone else need one? You good? No? Everyone has one? Okay, great. So let's just look at some of the poems that have been inspired by Lech Lecha. We just sang one, Debbie Friedman's. Let's go to the next one on the right column. Would someone like to read that one by Andrea Weiss?
Go forth on a journey. Go by yourself. Standing at a crossroad, you venture from the known to the unknown. Some journeys must be made alone. Go to yourself, spiral inward, and unwrap your past and your potential. Remember that the soul which you have made is unique and holy. Go for yourself. Smell the fragrance which spreads across the land as you roam and wander. Refresh yourself under the tree which grows by a spring by the side of the road. May your name great and make your name great and make your life a blessing.
I like this because it takes the Lech Lecha, go to yourself or for yourself, whatever, and it's also a commentary on that. It uses those. Each of the three latter stanzas play with Lech Lecha. What could it mean? Go by yourself, go to yourself, go for yourself. All of those could be meanings of Lech Lecha. But what's different between this and what's this poem trying to tell us?
This was the inner journey, totally inner. You need to find yourself on the route, wherever that may be.
Yes? And any other reactions to this as well? Yes, Rachel?
Don't be afraid, just do it. You don't know what to expect.
Yeah?
And you might be afraid, but it doesn't matter, just do it.
Yeah? Yeah?
It's a command to take a leap of faith.
Yes.
A leap, a real leap.
Beautiful. And so, at first we might say, well, wait a minute, God was speaking to Avram, who's a great spiritual person and whatever. So what's this got to do with me? But what you're saying is that this could also be addressed to each of us. Each of us, maybe we're not going to start a new religion, but each of us needs to take a leap of faith in how we live our life.
It's a leap of faith to go from stage 1 to stage 2. None of it is scripted. We never know how our life is going to play out. So we all, in some sense, are Avram. And so we all, in some sense, have to take some leap to move into the next thing. And we have to do it by ourselves, sometimes, to ourselves, but also for ourselves. And that's also when we do that, we're responding to a call, perhaps from something higher. I think it's a beautiful poem. And I love how it takes what is in the traditional text and brings it to a personal place. Let's look at another one. Anyone else have a comment on this one?
Just that it says that so that your life shall be a blessing.
Yes.
So even though it's like, get to it, you gotta do this yourself, well, you're doing it for a reason, and a blessing isn't on you, it's, your life will be a blessing for the world.
That's right. When we are most ourselves, our life can be a blessing. But when we fulfill ourselves, our life can be a blessing, not just for ourselves, but for others. Yes.
But it's, as I read it, it's not really a promise, it's up to you. Make your life a blessing.
Yeah.
It's not that I will make your life a blessing or something.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But it's your responsibility.
Yeah. Yes, that is what it says. Make your name great.
Yeah, make your name great.
But
Still a choice. It's still a choice.
it's still a choice. And when, so what is God? Is it this outside thing? Is it this inside thing of us becoming who we are supposed to be? So maybe there's not a huge difference between I will make your name great and make your name great in fulfilling our who we are, but because we
I
were
will
created.
make your name great,
Yes.
and that's the Torah.
Right.
This
Yes.
is a
No, you're totally right.
interpretation.
Yep.
A personal interpretation.
Right. But since we're partners with God in creation, maybe the I will make your name great and you make your own name great are not as different as they sound. That's the point.
So you can't sit back and wait
Right.
for God to do it for you.
Let's look at another one. Hannah Senish. I didn't know she'd written this poem. It's on the left side. In the middle, would someone like to read that? Yes.
Who is called? I went. I went where it called. I went, that's not fall. At the crossroads, I blocked both ears with white frost and cried for what I had lost. What do you think?
Okay. So now this is a very different, right? A very different take on the same Lech Lecha.
She lived in different times.
She lived at different times. Those of us who don't know who Hannah Senish is a young Jewish woman from Hungary who went to live in Palestine. And when the war broke out, she volunteered to parachute behind enemy lines and to try to save her family and other Jews from the Holocaust. And so,
Instead,
and she was captured.
Captured.
And I'm only guessing because I don't know, but I'm guessing this is, I was called. She felt called to do this. She couldn't just stay in the relative safety. She had to go back. And I blocked both ears with white frost, meaning I think she was back in Hungary where it's cold, where her hands must have been just so. That's how I read that. And that call was a tragic call. And it's a call of sadness. But sometimes we need to respond to that call too. And I didn't want to leave this one out. I thought it was, again, important to see how one phrase almost in the Torah inspires not just one response, but many different responses. Let's look at one more. Someone want to read the one on the bottom right?
Leave my home, my father, my mother, go with him to this place unknown. Follow this man who will cause me tears, who may bring me laughter, who says it's God's plan. So God, speak to me that I may hear, not just to him. This is my plea.
Okay, this is called Sarai. So Sarah. And what sparked maybe Sherry Blumberg to write this poem?
I sense that Sarah's voice is not heard. And so this is an attempt to give her a voice, to give her agency, and for her to speak to God, especially since in conservative and reform movements now, the matriarchs are included. In the beginning, bracha.
I would agree with you and go even further. Not only is her voice not heard, but she is not addressed. It's Lech Lecha, Avram. It's not Lech Lechi Lech, also you, Sarai. So she's saying, God, speak to me. And not only hear my voice, but speak to me. I want to hear you. I have a connection with you, and I want this to be a conversation both ways.
I think it's wonderful in that first stanza. It's two questions,
Yeah.
and then the third, it's like, go with him to
Right.
the place unknown.
Right,
It's
right.
like this crazy man, he says he hears something, and I gotta go because I'm his wife.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, he will cause me tears. All the tears that she is going to suffer by being barren. And then the tears once Yitzchak is born, that she watches Ishmael taunting him and Hagar taunts him. But then, who may bring me laughter? Yitzchak.
Right.
He may bring me a child who says it's God's plan.
So look how these very personal poems, because poetry is so personal, also are so inspired by the text. Not just Lech Lecha, but also as the whole thing with Hagar, the whole thing with Yitzchak, it's all there. What this woman's put in this poem, brief poem, is taking so many themes and applied it to her imaginary voice for Sarah. Just beautiful. Let's look at one more, the one we haven't read yet, which is not specifically for Lech Lecha, but I think it certainly fits. Would someone like to read that one?
P5, we are called. We are called as a lover calls to the beloved. The sky calls to us and the earth. The wind whispers our name and trees rustle with secret joy. Look to the world as it presents itself to you, and you will see and hear and know that you are called.
By the way, the P5 is just something, it's not significant, it's from something else that was there, I should have cut it out. But yes, so again, not only Avram is called, we are all called. And I think this is more, almost as like a prayer as well as a poem by Ronnie Shapiro, who's written some very, very beautiful reworking of the liturgy. So, hearing these very personal responses to Lech Lecha and Lechi Lach, does anyone have a story of our own life or of someone's life we know that seems to be in keeping with Lech Lecha and Lechi Lach? Do we know how this plays out? Yeah.
I have this like sadness for a different side of it. You know, I guess I just feel a sadness for who's left behind, what their lives were, what their lives are, and how you maintain connection with the people that go forth, that go by themselves. You know, I feel that sadness in a way, you know, and people do get called. I often wonder, you know, I struggle with this a lot. You know, I asked Joan this question before, and I've asked other people, how do you cope with your kids being so far and not seeing them a lot? You know, how do you do that? And I guess people get used to it, but it's hard to get used to.
Should be in there.
Yeah. After getting freed from the concentration camps, the Jews who stayed alive returned to their country of origin from where they were taken, and which was all Jewish. And I consider this a call that cannot be resisted. Odd, but you know, having been married to my building for almost a lifetime, and with all the changes that are happening and the people that I'm getting involved with that are helping me make these changes, everything is fresh and scary, and you know, you don't always know. And it's been an absolute miracle because I haven't fallen on my feet. So as I go into the unknown and stuff comes up, is that okay? That's all.
I see a hand, another hand. Go.
With David's giving, this is private, because when we decided to here, I was very much against this move. I went with him, and it worked out wonderful. So you just never know.
It's a risk. It's a risk. It's a risk.
Many of you know, we moved here from Maryland. We lived for 47 years, and we moved here in March. And it's very hard. So as I said, you don't want to catch too much, I'll start crying, but it's just hard.
There was when I was working at Hillel, we had a retreat with students with at this Torah portion. And if you think about it, that's you were talking about from the parent part of this. This is the from that generation who's leading into a place they don't know. They've had their own room and their own house and their own whatever, and suddenly they're in this new place. And what is going to happen? Their journey, their step that also has to be made. So that's one thought. And the other, which is why I think this, and it resonated so deeply, this parasha with those students. It was, and the other one, again, a personal family story. My dad was 17 years old when he left Chichevich, this tiny little no place, which I've seen since, in now Ukraine, to get on a boat with nobody that he knew, and to go to Argentina because he wanted to go to this country, but he couldn't get in. And he left. He left his mother, which I think it was years before he could even talk about that leaving. And to go to, it wasn't Eretz Israel, but it was to an unknown place that he knew no one there. And I just think, what it must have been like for him to be on that boat and to take that step. And I also think that this, again, part of this that resonates, I think, for me, and maybe, I bet that there's stories like that in all of our families. I mean, most of our families didn't grow up here, right? Some generations back, and had to somehow say, I'm leaving what I know for something I don't know.
I was just going to say the same thing, that my friend did this genealogy, and he's tracking some of my family's history. There's two brothers came here from Russia. When someone came from Poland, they brought their siblings here, and everybody knowing nothing about where they were going and what they were going to find themselves. It's just almost a universal story in this country.
It's a Jewish story, starting from
ancient times when Babylonian exile, and then the Romans, and then the diaspora, and being thrown out of this country, thrown out of that country. So it's a very Jewish thing. Fortunately or unfortunately, probably unfortunately.
So anyways,
Just one quick question.
Munger,
Very often, when Jewish and even non-Jewish Eastern and Central Europeans arrived in this country, their names are completely changed.
Yes.
And then Tomaszewski became Thomas. There was a Rodaszewski in my shul growing up. It became Smith. The people that bringing them into the country couldn't spell the name, just like, you're Smith.
My uncle was a chiseler and his last name was Chesler.
So I mean, that's another thing that you lose in gaining something new.
but there's that famous joke where the guy says, "So what's your name?" The guy says, "Sean Ferguson." I forgot. And they say, "Okay, Sean Ferguson."
Sean Ferguson.
And the name is nothing, my wife's father was a doctor. And when he applied to medical school, his name was Cohen. He got rejected at every medical school. So he changed his name back to Kagan, which was the original name he got accepted in every medical school. Just like an insurance background. Same medical school.
So I want, and there's another poem by Yuval Amichai. We won't have time to look at it now. If you want to look at it over lunch, we can. It's just amazing. These stories, on the one hand, are ancient and whatever, but they're not just ancient. And that's why, and I'm so glad to see that each of us can resonate to it in our own way. And it's so, that's some of the power of these stories, especially in Genesis, that there can be, look at how many different takes there were, even on just, a few poems that I found, but it still speaks to us. We make our meaning, it gives us meaning in our lives and in our journeys. And that's why Lech Lecha particularly is such a powerful thing.
Today would have been a good day for Donald Trump to go up on this.
You can go somewhere else.
Okay, so let us come to the concluding parts of our service.
She's MIA.
Okay, so Ein Kelohenu, page 182. We'll do a different melody then. Oh, here she is. We won't do a different melody. Right on cue. It's even open for you.
Kelohenu, Ein Adonenu, Ein Kemochenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Ein Kelohenu, Ein Adonenu, Ein Kemochenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shetiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha Eschatasam.
183.
Aleinu l'shabeach vado, Tetu l'aliotze Breshit, Shelo asanu k'goyim haratzot, Velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, Shelo sam k'elkeinu kahem, V'gor aleinu k'chol ha'anam, V'anachnu korim, U'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei Melech Malkei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Notei Shamayim v'Yosei Haaretz, U'Moshe Yikaro Hashamayim Ima'av, U'Shchina Suzo, V'Koven Mirobim, Hu Eloheinu Einot, שבota אל לבבך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת אין עוד.
כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. This week we recall Abraham Greenspan, Fanny Gruzecki, Samuel Orlin, Ida Bernstein, Dorothy Bassell, Jacob Katz, and Max Spicer. Mourner's Kaddish, page 184. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayichon u'yomeichon u'v'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah v'barach v'olam u'lomei omayo. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpatar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha v'chulu. Ve'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rava min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom midramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Jones, announcements?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Everybody here, everybody watching at home, and any future people that may pick this up soon. It's an okay day. It's very cold, so it's a good day to be inside in a cozy place like this. So there's a few messages, or a few. The first one is a biggie. We've been waiting anxiously and excitedly for tomorrow. So without causing too much embarrassment to Simon, I would just like to announce that you should be here tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, and you will be treated to I'm not even sure where it's going to go, but it's Thomas Jefferson and the Jews. So for me, this is a whole new kind of topic, and I can't wait to hear what's going to be said and discussed. So we start with the lecture. After the lecture, we'll have a wonderful brunch. As usual, when we have things like this, we try to connect the brunch to the talk. And so we've done our best to research what Thomas Jefferson would recognize in terms of a brunch.
Oh, boy.
No bagels?
It's not, no bagels.
No bagels.
But lots of eggs and smoked fish and vegetables. Remember, he's a farmer, lots of vegetables. What Cindy thinks may have been his favorite salad. And other things like
Is there
that.
gonna be ice cream?
No, we can find
One of
ice
his
cream.
favorites.
He introduces ice cream to us.
Yes.
I thought it was Valley Madison who introduced ice cream.
No, he did.
Oh.
Remember I
maybe
mentioned,
we
I
should-
mentioned ice cream.
Should we change the dessert? We'll talk about this.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
There's still time, there's still time.
time.
There's still time, we can do it. We could do ice cream. Okay, did he put fudge sauce on it?
Sorry?
Did he put fudge sauce on it?
Chocolate sauce.
Chocolate,
Alright.
fruit.
Yeah.
Okay, so dessert will remain, we could talk about downstairs.
Yeah.
But, it'll be a very wonderful few hours if you can come and share this with us tomorrow. And, Tuesday is our board meeting, and then I'm just, 7:00 is the board meeting, right, thank you. That's what I have to say for today.
Just a heads up for a save the date kind of thing. We've already begun, are in the beginning stages of planning our annual Hanukkah first night menorah lighting, which will be December 22nd which is a Sunday evening at City Hall, so save the date.
And Rafi has invited us to their place for Monday night, for the second night of Hanukkah. So there'll be more information on that as we get closer.
Joan, if I can, I learned yesterday afternoon that I am Minion
Oh,
Maven
yes.
for this
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
That's right.
And so I can't call today because I don't. And tomorrow I'm gonna be slightly busy, so if there's anyone here who can come to Minion on Monday morning, your presence would be greatly appreciated.
Michael and I will be here. Okay, thank you. Oh, and thank you for a wonderful service, and
What are you
before
serving for breakfast?
What day?
leftovers.
I don't know because at 8:00 I'm teaching.
Just one more thing that I would like to say, and that is, just to spend a moment recognizing, the service of our veterans. For, whether it's for our army or the Israeli army, for the time, and the service that they have, given to us and to the country, and that make it possible really for us to be here today. So I think we owe, perhaps a moment of silence and, just a big thank you.
Thank you for adding that. I was thinking maybe I should change the melody for Adon Olam to something that's fitting for Veterans Day. I haven't thought this out of my head, so I hope this works. Adon Olam Hashem Alach Kol Yitzir Nivra V'yet Nasa V'Chetz Amo Hashem Nivra V'acharei Kivot Hakol V'Hadayim Oknolam V'hu Hayam V'hu Homer V'yeh V'zivara V'hu Echad V'yein שתלי תחלי לעוז המשרה והוא אלי וחי נולי וצדיק לי את שרה והוא ניסי ומנוסי מנחוסי ביום הקרב בידו אף קיברוכי ויסי שם באמירה ואם ברוכי ירביעתי אדוני ולא ירא בידו אף קיברוכי ויסי שם באמירה ואם ברוכי ירביעתי אדוני ולא ירא. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 shalom. Shabbat, 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 shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, shalom.